Good day, folks. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you everything that I have learned about gathering Black Lotuses, mainly on a dead server. This may not work for your realm, but this will work on a dead realm. So if you can farm on a dead realm, maybe you can apply these tips to your own realm as well, but it highly depends on how many people are farming the Lotus at current time on your map. We'll start with the first part, and the first part is gonna be level 0. Alright, so at level 0, most people are basically just running around the map, and they have like carrot on a stick, enchant on gloves, riding, and mithril spurs on boots, so that they have maximum speed. Each map has a different size, and running around a map is a little bit more difficult depending on the class you are, and I would assume the enchants that you have on your gear regarding the speed movement. If you're to run in burning steps and do an efficient run, it usually takes 2 minutes 30 seconds. If you run in Silithus with maximum speed gear, it takes about 12 minutes to cross the entire map. 12 to 13 minutes. And that's if you do not get dazed while running. There's a high chance you will get dazed while running through elites, mobs, etc. Being a rogue helps because you can vanish straight out of it and then mount up and go again. Other classes are not so lucky, unfortunately. They just have to, deal with it. Maybe hunters can feign death, but then they have to kill their pet, or they have to leave their pet unsummoned. So for the level 0, basically it's the hardest way to get a Lotus. And the chances of you getting a Lotus at level 0 are basically very, very small, because you are running around the map and hoping that while you are running across the map, checking the spots, that it spawns right in front of you or near you or near to the next spawn that you're gonna check. Chances of that happening are kind of low. It did happen to me quite a lot, but I have been farming over 500 Lotuses, so depends on how long your farming session is, how much time you got. Running around the map is the most inefficient way, I should say, to get Black Lotuses. Alright, the second one, the next part is make sure you have, but not really, because this depends on how you have your setup. So I'll talk about level 1, and then we'll go into add-ons, gear and shit, and then I'll talk about the other 3 at the end. So level 1 is having 2 accounts, like you see me recording right now. So this is my hunter, it's on a separate account, and this is my level 60 rogue, and he's on a separate account. So I keep my rogue watching these 2 Black Lotus spots right here, which you can see on the map, right below Scenario and Hold. There's a chance they can spawn here, and while I keep my rogue there, I scout with my hunter, which is level 18, for Black Lotuses. And basic premise of having 2 accounts is basically that. You have one hunter on one account and your main character on the other account, so that you don't have to go through the process of log out or log back in or stuff like that. And once you find Lotus, you just go directly to it. Scouting, as you can see, is super easy. It's really not that hard, but this will beat a runner. So if you have somebody running around the map finding Lotuses or trying to find Lotuses, that person you're going to beat because it takes me, for example, in Silithus, roughly 2 minutes, 2 minutes or 1 minute 30 seconds to finish my scout if I go fast about it. And that means that I can check all the Black Lotus spots in 1 minute 30 seconds, 2 minutes. Whilst if you are running around, it's going to take you 12. So chances of you getting a Lotus are smaller for you if you're running around with one account, and higher for me because I am constantly checking the map every 2 to 3 minutes in a 1 minute 32 minute scouting session. Burning Steps is different. Burning Steps is smaller in size, since it takes you 2 to 3 minutes to run around the entire map to see it manually. Your scouting is shorter. The thing about Burning Steps is, because it's so small, it's jam-packed with spawns. Once you scout with your hunter, you can scout for 3 to 4 to 5 spawn locations from one scout point. If you know that point, you can finish scouting in Burning Steps in 30 seconds. Scouting Burning Steps in 30 seconds, or less preferably, will of course beat the runner that does 2 minute 30 to finish checking all the spots. However, because the map is so small, you're fighting timeline, and the runner will most of the time win in Burning Steps. But if you get a spawn in like a location such as the altar, or there's also one spawn here at the cave, if you get like end of the map spawn locations, as a runner they don't have a huge chance of getting it. But once you get to it, like you can park your character mid-map right here, or even here, so you can watch these 3 spawn locations, and as soon as you find it with your hunter scout, you can directly go to it, whilst the other people that are running about, they're doing their circle, right? So you'll still be faster than the runner, but the thing is, chances for the runner are higher just because of the time difference being smaller. So scouting and Burning Steps is pretty good too. Next thing is, you should check the map, and if possible, either have a friend or have a third account to check Horde as well. So for example, right now on Horde, I have a separate account. I'm using it on my laptop, so I can't share it. But I can check who's in Silithus on Horde side. And in Silithus on Horde side, there's a rogue called Fast Runner. He just keeps running around trying to find a Black Lotus from time to time. He doesn't get many. I can also kill him, and I killed him multiple times, but it kind of gets to a point where you get tired. Killed him over 170 times, it's already, too much. And I can beat him just by scouting, so there's really no reason for me to kill him, just to show my dominance. And then there are 2 more mages in Silithus. I'm gonna show them to you. They're bot farmers on this realm. I have reported them. Sadly, Blizzard doesn't give a fuck as usual. So let's quickly do a scout. Alright, we'll talk about gear next. And you should also get herbalism learned on your hunter. You don't need to level your herbalism. You can leave it at, like I left it at 1 at 75. So just learn herbalism, so you have the ability to find herbs. Because when you're scouting for the Black Lotus, and there you go, there was the bot right there. So this is a farming bot. I assume he's farming Runecloth or Twilight Texts or whatever. This is one farming bot, and the other farming bot is at the Essence of Air farm. He's just there every day, every night, 24/7. He doesn't log off, same as the other guy. So that's basically no competition except for Fast Runner, which is the rogue that runs around. And you can see these corpses. The mage probably died from the Wind Reaver that spawned just now, the farming bot. Alright, let's keep counting, let's keep doing the scout. The hunter that you can also try and do this on one account. But the tricky part is once you find a Lotus, right, with your hunter, with your low level hunter, make sure that you are in the same area, of course, with your 60 character, so you can go grab the Lotus. Quick way to do that and switch without waiting for the 20 seconds to log you out thingamajiggy. So for example, you press log out, it takes 20 seconds. There's 20 seconds you're losing. You can just open up your account one more time and your main character or whatever it is, open it up, and it'll automatically log in to your WoW. It'll automatically disconnect this one, and then you can directly log in into your main character and go for the Lotus if you found it on one account. It's a bit tricky to do this way because sometimes logging in takes a while, but yeah. Next part, let's talk about gear a little bit. So the best way to gear up your hunter is to put as much intellect as possible. Since this is a dead realm, it was a little bit harder for me to get a enchanter to enchant that. But if you plan on doing this on your own realm where you have easy access to materials and enchants, you can enchant your staff with plus 22 intellect. You can get Seal of Rin, which will give you a little bit of intellect. You can get this one from Dead Mines. Some random boots in green, some legs in green. Anything that you can get that gives you intellect is the best that you can get, right? So 2 intellect on this. This one I didn't get any chest piece and I didn't get any bracers. And you can see at level 18 with no enchants and without a chest piece with intellect and without bracers, I have 1k mana. 1k mana is pretty good. Because 1k mana I can scout through the entirety of Silithus without having to drink. So also position your hunter somewhere safe on the map. Preferably somewhere where you can't get corpse camped or killed forever. Because if you get killed, you can't scout, right? Can't scout, can't find the Lotus. So hide your hunter very well. That's pretty much about gear. Try to get as many intellect pieces as you can. If at all possible, enchant it. If you plan on doing this long term. If you plan on just doing it for a couple of hours, like a normal session or something like that, don't bother enchanting it. Just get some pieces and get them in position and start scouting. Get a feel for the scout. See how it works for you. See how you enjoy it or not. This is a lengthy farm. This type of farm, you won't get Black Lotuses like they say in fucking Twitch streamers and shit. Black Lotus respawn timer for real is random. So it can spawn between 5 and 75 minutes. Doesn't always spawn every 15 minutes like people have been saying. And that is it's been proven true because I've been alone on the map without anybody on it. Not even the farming bots themselves. On this dead server. Multiple times. I was the only guy on the map. There was nobody else in Silithus. I was the only one. And I got a 74-minute Black Lotus spawn. So I had to wait 74 minutes for one Black Lotus to spawn. And I was the only guy on the map. There's nobody else here. So it's totally random. It can spawn at any point in time between 5 and 75 minutes. And that's pretty much how it is. That's how Blizzard designed it, and it just sucks sometimes. For example, right now I picked a Lotus. I have a timer. I picked it 25 minutes ago. 26 minutes ago. I have this automatic week hour timer that starts a 60-minute timer, and I have the stopwatch which I start automatically as soon as I pick up the lotus from the ground. And I started up on both my hunter and my my rogue, so I can see it go down. The next part is we're going to talk about add-ons. So what you need for add-ons is very simple. If you've seen my hunter, you'll see that I have an enlarged minimap, and that's because I'm using sexy map on him. I also have sexy map on this one, I think, but I'm not sure. So if you look at this huge ass minimap, that's because of the add-on called sexy map. Where the hell is it? There it is. So get sexy map, install it, and then you can go to interface, add-ons, sexy map, expand that, and what was it? No, I think you just go here and choose a preset, and one of the presets is like it changes the way the map looks, right? So you can find your square, or just a rustic fill, or you can get a simple square like I use. Anything that you want, you can just choose it and save it, and that'll give you the minimap that you want. Make sure you always have find herbs on, so you can see the herbs on the minimap. Next part of add-ons, you don't need anything but sexy map, to be honest, but you do need 2 macros. One macro is for the Eagle Eye Scout, and that's pretty simple. So you just go here, and you can see it says hashtag show tooltip Eagle Eye. That's like kinda unnecessary, but whatever. You just want to see the tooltip, I guess. And then you type /cast Eagle Eye, so that you can cast Eagle Eye over and over and over again, right? It is better than a Shaman, because Shaman has a cast time on Farsight of what, like 0.5 seconds or 1 second? I don't know. This one is instant, so you go through the map quicker than a Shaman does with Farsight. Don't get me wrong, a Shaman is pretty good at getting lotuses as well, but if he's fighting a hunter, the hunter will most likely win most of the time. Depends on how much mana either of them have, etc, etc. This is the first part. The next part is, if you noticed on the minimap, I don't have my player arrow here. This is the second bot that keeps farming Essence of Air here. He doesn't loot Black Lotuses, so which is good, because if one spawns there, I can go grab it. The next one is the player arrow on the minimap. To remove the player arrow on the minimap, there is a code. I'll post it in the description of the video, and you can copy and paste it from there. It's basically a command that literally just deletes that. And the next time you log in, you have to click the macro again, because it's an option that's automatically enabled by default by Blizzard every time you log in, and you're just disabling that option through a command line basically in the game. And there you go. This is how you see the Black Lotus on the minimap. You can see it on the ground as well, but the best way to see it is when you scout for it, remove the player arrow so it doesn't interfere with your scouting, and you can see the yellow dot on the minimap even with 1 herbalism. So right now I'm gonna pick up my rogue, and I'm gonna go grab that lotus. You can see it's in the corner right here, right below Death Clasp. Alright, the next macro is the player arrow, so let me put this on auto run real quick, and I'll show it to you. Do 1 more scout. Okay, I'm out of mana. So this is the arrow. It's a script. It says literally minimap, and then a SetPlayerTexture, and you have player texture set to nothing, and it deletes the fucking thing. So you can just do that and get your lotus. Also, I have always and constantly checking for people in Silithus. So if you look right now, I am the only guy in Silithus, and I keep my hunter behind the gates of Anchorage. So if I type who gates, you will see that I'm the only guy on gates. There's nobody else there on horde on gates. It's just me. Also, make sure you get like herbalism gloves. Sometimes it can help you, because you can fail a bunch of times, and if other people get to it before you do, you just screw it up and you lost the lotus because you didn't have these. Get these gloves. If you can't wear leather, I feel sorry for you. Just get them enchanted, whatever. Alright, let's talk about the next part about Black Lotus. Spawn timer. Alright, we've talked about the spawn timer. It's between 5 minutes and 75. Talked about map size, but not entirely. So, the smallest map is Burning Steppes. The next smallest map is Celithis in terms of size. The next after that is Eastern Plaguelands, and the largest map is Winter Spring. Though many people say Eastern Plaguelands and Winter Spring are kinda similar in size, and that may be true. The terrain in fucking Winter Spring is horrid, and there are a lot of bad spots in Winter Spring when you're scouting. We'll talk about bad spots in a second. Map issues. So let me show you a map issue. So right now it's gonna be 5 minutes. There's not gonna be a lotus spawn, so there's no reason for me to scout. Like for right now, I have absolutely no reason to scout. Well, let me show you a bad spot on the map. So once you get used to scouting with your hunter, you will sometimes encounter these bad spots on the map when you're trying to scout in a spot, and this is what it does. It does the scout on that location, and it would normally show you that you're on that location, but it prompts you back to your hunter. That means you can't see if there's a Black Lotus there or not. So you need to avoid that area, because, for example, in this particular spot, there is a Black Lotus that spawns right there. Right there. So from this spot, from this position where I am up top, I can see the Black Lotus on the minimap, right? But if I am coming back, like when I finish my circle, and I am coming back, and I click here, there's also a Black Lotus spawn right there. So if I were to not click right there, and click here, next to the tent, or around this area, it'll bug out. Look, well, sometimes it works. Thing about spots, sometimes they work once you get them in position, but if I go back here and I do this again, it bugs out, right? So this is basically how it works on all the maps. There are spots on the map where they literally just bug out. Like Eagle Eye won't work in that location, but if you go about it, if you go about it in a roundabout way, then you can make that spot work. You need to figure it out though. Because, like, for example, I figured out that I can scout here, and once I do my scout there, I can do a safe scout right there behind the tent in that crevice right there, right? And then from this position I can pretty much scout anywhere I want, because I can scout in the forbidden place as well, where it normally blocks me out. But just because I'm coming from that position, from that location to this spot, it just becomes an automatic bad spot. Just because of the angle or the line or whatever. I don't fucking know. It's weird. Next spots, most of them are pretty safe when scouting in Celithis, but that's one of the bad spots. There are a couple of bad spots near the camps, so if you're scouting, like for this camp, if you're scouting backwards from, to this camp, if you scout inside the camp, sometimes it will bug out. If you're scouting to the next one, this one, and then from this one to this camp, if you scout inside this camp, sometimes it will bug out. And for the other maps, there are a lot of places where it just literally just bugs out and it won't do shit. So the way to learn them is just scout, avoid them, or find close enough spots where you don't get where you don't get bugged out. Also, keep in mind the fact that it matters from which position you went to it. So you might get frustrated after a while, but if, for example, you're scouting from this position to that corner, and then from this corner to that corner, it'll bug out, right? But instead of this position, I, for example, position myself there, and then from this position, I scout to the tent. Sometimes it can work. As you can see, it works. But if I go back to the rock or any other rock, and I go back to the tent, it's bugged. So it matters the previous anchor point that you had when scouting as well. So if you're scouting on a map, remember the previous anchor point from which you left to bug it out, because that is important as well. And hopefully you will get less bugged out. Also, Burning Steps has got a lot of issues because there's a lot of plants that interfere with the scouting and shit like that. And when in Silithus, like right now, it's what? It's minute 6 basically. Alright, let's do a quick scout at minute 6. And you'll see that when I scout, there are no bullshit plants around me most of the time. The reason for that is because I'm just scouting for the Black Lotuses, and if I see a plant spawn in a location close to my Black Lotus, I just go and pick it up. So that every time I see a yellow dot on the minimap, in a Silithus at least, I know it's not gonna be a fucking Dreamfoil, Golden Sandsam, Sungrass, or Mount of Silver Sage, right? And I mean, the chances of it spawning in minute 6 are pretty low. You're not gonna get a Black Lotus in minute 6. It's like I've farmed a total of 660 lotuses, 668 to be precise. And in those 668 lotuses, I only had 3 6-minute respawn timers on 3 lotuses. It's very, very random and luck based. You won't get 6-minute respawn timers sometimes. Most of the time you won't. 10 minutes, I've had a lot. 10 minutes, it can spawn 10 minutes quite often. You can get a lotus every 10 minutes sometimes, if you're lucky. If it's like a lucky morning or a lucky evening, you can get 10-minute respawns. Most of the time, you're stuck with 20, 30 to 45 and 55-minute spawns. For example, today, it looks like it's gonna be a shit day. I only got a 25, 30-minute respawn on one of the lotuses that I just got, and I have a feeling the next one is gonna be just as bad. That's pretty much it about the lotus farming. You also need to be aware of other people on the map. So there are a bunch of assholes like this guy in Burning Steps, which you can't beat, so there's no point in going there. And this is on a dead realm again. So these are all his characters. He's got 11 accounts on Alliance, and then if I check Horde on my laptop in Burning Steps, he's got 5 more accounts on Horde side as well. And he literally positions all of his characters in front of lotuses, but he's kind of stupid. He goes AFK quite a lot, so I stole some lotuses from him. Thing is, he has 5 Horde characters, and on top of that, he has all of this Alliance bullshit, right? So if somebody from Horde tries to come and mess with him, he just enables his multiboxing software, which apparently Blizzard doesn't give a shit anymore, even though they say they do, they don't. Because I've reported him multiple times with the people in the only active guild on this realm. And he's still there. He's still multiboxing. He's still farming for the Black Lotus. You can't beat this guy. He's got 16 accounts, 5 of which are Horde side. And on the Horde side has he bought 60 Warlock with like full rank 14 PvP or some bullshit. I killed him on my rogue, but thing is, if any Alliance comes over, he's killing them with his Warlock. Unless it's me, then he can't kill me. If any horde comes, he's killing it with all of this shit, and he's farming all the lotuses and burning steppes. And then you have people in Winter Spring. Winter Spring right now looks like there's only 3 people. This one is a farming bot. Is farming Winterfell Firewater since 3 months ago, since I joined the server. This is a new hunter, first time I see him. And this is one of our guildies. He usually just goes mines shit. But on Horde side in Winter Spring, there are 2 hunters and a 60 undead rogue. There are 2 hunters, which are one is level 20 and one is level 18. And those 2 hunters belong to a multi-boxer that has 6 hunters level 60 in Winter Spring, and he has them positioned across the map, like 1 hunter here, 1 hunter there, 1 over there, and 1 here at the entrance, and I don't know, 1 over there, whatever. And whenever he finds the Lotus with his horde hunters that are lower level, he just logs in the hunter that's closest to it, and he goes and picks it, and you can't beat him either. In Eastern Plaguelands, it's a fuckfest. It's a shit show. Problem with Eastern Plaguelands, even on dead realms, is 90% of the people go there to farm plague blooms. So right now there are 2 alliance players in Eastern Plaguelands, but on Horde there's 8 fucking people, out of which 5 of them are level 60 hunters. But those hunters, none of them scout. Well, maybe one of them scouts, I'm not sure. But I know the other ones don't. And they don't scout for the Lotus because all they want to get is Plague Bloom. And Eastern Plaguelands overfarmed in terms of Plague Bloom and shit. This varies on realm to realm. Like, this is Judgment Europe. There are other dead realms that are, I don't know, maybe less populated than this, but be sure that there is already someone on that realm that is farming for Black Lotuses if nobody else is there to farm it, alright? So you're not gonna get any Black Lotuses. I would show you with what I have to deal with to manage to get this spot. In the past, they used to teleport to Black Lotuses, but that no longer works because Blizzard fixed it, thankfully. And I was fighting with a guy that used the rogue to teleport to Black Lotuses, and I found his hunter by scouting for him. If you see, I have a macro for target here as well, so that I can target players. And these are all the people I've been fighting to try to find and kill, because they brought a level 18 hunter on Horde side, and I'm like, oh, he's Horde, I'm just gonna kill him with my rogue, and then I can scout for my Lotus myself and get the Lotus. So let me quickly finish this and show you what type of people you may encounter and you may have to beat in order to secure a spot and start farming for the Lotuses if you're going on a dead realm. If not, and you're farming it on your own realm, chances of you getting it are kind of slow, because even though most of the people are runners, there are too many of them. Like, there's too many runners. You have 10 plus people if you count Horde plus Alliance on the map, on all maps, Eastern Plaguelands, Silithus, anything. Alright, let me find the video for you. It's supposed to be on my channel, I think. Right, I think it's this one. Yeah, so check this guy out. So look at this guy. Look at him. How the fuck is he falling down? Just look. He's creating invisible steps so he can fall down. I've killed him a bunch of times, right? And he created these like invisible steps, or he's using a cheat or something. He got in a place where I cannot reach. Like, there is no way for my rogue to reach this location. And he started scouting from this location. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to kill him with my alliance rogue in this location where I cannot get to this location? Like, that's just dumb. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I reported him, and he got banned. And that's how I got my location back. Because he used this fucking hack, and I found him, and I recorded him, and I sent it to hacks, and they banned him. I never saw this guy online ever again after like 3-4 days after I reported him. So they banned that guy. Because there's absolutely no human way for you to get there unless you're cheating. And he was cheating. He was using some kind of software or something to get down those steps. Because there's no way you can, like, how the fuck did you get down this? How'd you do that? How the fuck did you do that? There's no way you can do that in the game without cheating. No fucking way. So yeah, I got pissed. But at least I secured my spot, right? So that gave me this current spot that I have with my my hunter, which I've hidden behind the AQ40 gates. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I was categorizing levels of what type of Black Lotus farmer are you. So if I would say level 0 would be like a regular runner. Level 1 would be like a person that has 2 accounts, like I do. Or level 2 would be like have 3 accounts, and you have 1 horde character, 2 ally characters, or 2 horde characters and 1 ally character. Reason for 3 accounts is like I have like 4 accounts. I have 2 horde and 2 ally. But thing is, with the 3 accounts, it allows you to check horde side and alliance side, and you can check the map and see what players are on the map. Yeah. And level 4 I suggest like 5+ accounts, so basically you're a multi-boxer, and yeah. This is like the most secure way that you can farm for Black Lotuses, but Jesus Christ, 5 accounts is fucking stupid. It's just too much. I covered the add-ons. I covered the arrow removal, range increase, eagle eye. Don't remember what this was about. Gear, we've talked about that. Spawn timer, we've talked about that. Map size, we've talked about that. Map issues, we've talked about that. And burning steps as well. Alright, let's do one more quick scout. Let's see if I get lucky enough. So yeah, it takes a while to get used to it. Takes a while to gain the experience so you can become faster. The faster you do the scout, the better. The quicker you are on the scout, and the more often you do the scout, the better. Because that just literally increases your chances of getting the Lotus. If you're dilly-dallying and you're like scouting every 5 minutes, it's not gonna get you a Lotus, man. Like, if you're alone on the map, maybe you'll get it. If you're like the only guy on the map, then yeah, you can scout every 5 minutes. Like, wait 4 minutes, wait 5 minutes. But if you're fighting other people, you have to scout non-stop. So you have to drink as quickly as possible for 20 seconds. As soon as your mana is up, you start scouting. If you don't, somebody else is gonna get your Lotus. So if you're fighting people on the map, you need to constantly scout for the Lotus. Doesn't matter if you have any type of competition, like even runners. If they get lucky enough while you've been drinking and it spawns in front of them, they'll steal your Lotus. There's nothing you can do about it. Right now it's been at 20 almost, and it didn't respawn yet. So yeah, it's not up. Gonna wait for longer and drink up and scout some more later. Maybe I'll get some. Good luck on your journey for Black Lotus. That's pretty much everything that I have to share. And yeah, shoot me up in comments if you have any other questions, guys. Have a good one. Cheers. Thanks.